You're tuned in to the Burrage Sports Show.
Yo, what's up, everybody? The Burrage Sports Show is back in full effect. I'm one of your hosts, Mike B.
Mike Burr.
And this is April T. Let's get into the NBA trade deadline ended today, this afternoon. I want to talk about the most shocking one for me was Aaron Gordon to the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah, that was my favorite one because I think that Denver is a legitimate contender. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, they have the best center in the NBA. Maybe Embiid is right there. And Jokic. Jamal Murray, we saw what he did in the bubble. Probably one of the best playoff performances ever in the bubble. Yep. And now you add Gordon, the most athletic guy in the NBA. Should have been a two-time dunk contest winner, and he can get buckets. And he's used to a lot of responsibility because in Orlando, he was kind of the face of the franchise. Vukovic came along, so they were kind of that 1-2 punch. I thought that was the biggest or best deal, in my opinion. I think Denver is very serious about winning that chip.
Yeah, and then you got to think they also added JaVale McGee, which is a sneaky, nice pickup. Give him some depth with the big man. They did let go of Gary Harris, though. But I think getting Aaron Gordon, you add a lot of versatility. You know, he has size. He can really play any position. You know, if you want to go big, you can put him at the guard. He's a natural forward. But, you know, if you go small, he could play the 5 or the 4 for you and hold that down. I think he's going to get a lot of easy buckets, especially around the rim. We know how good Jokic is as a passer. Jamal Murray's going to draw a lot of double teams, and now you have another guy who can go get some buckets and make plays around the rim.
I think so, too. And, you know, another interesting trade, Victor Oladipo got traded from Indiana early in the year, went to Houston. Now Houston is passing him along to the Miami Heat, the defending Eastern Conference champion Miami Heat.
Yeah, and they only gave up Avery Bradley and Olynyk, I mean, which are good players, but and we know Oladipo, he's been dealing with injuries, so that may be the reason for that. But still, you got to think, to add a all-star caliber player to the Heat lineup and you didn't have to give up any of your core pieces, I mean, that was a really good deal. And then they also got a guy, Nijamana Belaka, from the Kings. And, you know, he's having a bit of a down year, but he's a 6'11 guy that can shoot the 3. So you get a court spacer. You got, you know, you lost a couple role players, but you bring in Oladipo, so if he could stay healthy, he could really be the missing piece to kind of take this team back to the finals if they have aspirations of doing that.
I have to agree with that, man. And they can have a real athletic, you know, rotation out there.
Yeah.
If you got Jimmy Buckets, you got Bam, and you got Oladipo, if all three of them are healthy.
Yeah.
But you put those three on the floor, they're all three good defensive players. You got some versatility there, and then that's some serious athleticism. So I think the Heat wanted to get a little more pop, a few more guys that can play above the rim, because they were great shooting that 3-point shot.
Yep.
We know they're going to play defense. Now they got another high flyer if he's healthy, but he got versatility. He can handle the rock. He can rebound the rock. He can, you know, pass the rock. He's kind of like a lesser version of Jimmy Buckets, to be honest. So I think that was a good deal to pick up Oladipo. And I think the Heat are very serious if they can get their bodies right of coming back and winning that Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and then you add another guy that can go out and get you 20. And so that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Jimmy. And you still got, you know, the other scorers on the team. But now Jimmy has another guy that can run the offense.
Yep.
Give him a break, give him some rest. We saw how many minutes he was playing in the playoffs. So I think this is a good move for him.
I do too. And what about our Bulls?
Yeah.
Mike Burr, hit me, man. What do you think about the Bulls? And for those listening, normally doing trade deadlines and free agencies, lately we've been striking out a lot. It was nice to see our Bulls, our hometown team, make some nice plays. Rap to us about that, Mike Burr.
Yeah, I thought the Bulls did excellent at the deadline. They made some splashy moves. You bring in Nikola Vucevic from Orlando.
All-star.
He's a 20-10 guy. He's every bit of 6'11". And this gives Zach LaVine some help. He's been a one-man show, but now he has another all-star. I think they'll be nice in the pick and roll, pick and pop. And it's just nice to have a big you could throw it down to, and he can get you a bucket. Yeah. And he could step outside and hit the three. So he's a talented guy. And you get in a vet, Al-Farouq Aminu.
Yeah.
Who's a good defender, solid veteran. He can shoot the three as well. And then they brought in Daniel Tice from Boston.
That shocked me. I didn't think Boston would give up Tice, but maybe I'll have to check and see if he's like coming up on a contract year and they just didn't want to pay that bread. But I was shocked by that because he's a fan favorite, and he's a hard worker. He's like a typical Boston Celtic guy. Mm-hmm. So I was surprised we were able to get him.
Yeah, me too. And it's one of those sneaky moves. It's like it's not going to draw a lot of headlines, but you need players like Tice if you want to win. He's a scrappy guy. He'll dive on the floor. He'll guard, and he'll make those big plays for you when you least expect it. So I think that was a sneaky good move, adding some defense and just some toughness to the team. And we're a couple games out the playoffs, so I think they could really make a push for it.
Yeah, and just as I was thinking, he is on a 1-year deal for $5 million. So after this season, he'll be a free agent. And Boston, they paid Kemba, they paid Jaylen Brown, they paid Jason Tatum. Marcus Smart still has a couple of years left on his deal. They paid Tristan Thompson. So I think they were kind of looking at the writing on the wall and saying he's going to ask for some money. So we might as well get something for him now, cut our losses, because they're not going to be able to pay everybody.
Yeah. So it's more so a rental then.
It's a rental.
But hey, he may re-up with the Bulls, depending on the market.
Yeah.
And then I think they did a good job. They did give up 2 first-round picks, but they got an all-star. So that's that's the cost of doing business. And I think they're saying, hey, we're in Chicago. We see how these superstars are moving around, and maybe with this new front office, maybe we can actually attract a big free agent.
Yeah. And you know what? And it was time for the Bulls to make a move. Okay, if we have some cap issues or we're going to have some issues trying to sign some people, we need that. We haven't had that.
We haven't.
So it's good we got some we can maybe have a little drama, maybe have some interesting news stories to talk about. And now we got to, move around the chess pieces.
Right.
We've been so stagnant, so I like that. You know what I'm saying? April, I want to ask you, though, what about the Lakers? Lakers didn't do anything. What do you think about the Lakers not making a move so far?
I'll answer that as the resident Lakers fan here.
Oh, you gonna jump April on that one? Okay.
No, I like what we have. The real question mark is LeBron and AD. When they're without them, we're not a good team
At all.
Because we have a bunch of role players. Schroeder's great, Harrell is great, but they're not ones, they're not twos. But when you have them as your 3 and your 4, they're amazing. And so just without LeBron and AD, I think they did a good job of not panicking. It looks like Andre Drummond's about to get bought out. LaMarcus Aldridge got bought out. So I think they're like, hey, let's not trade and give up any talent. We could just get somebody on the buyout market.
Yeah, Aldridge already got bought out.
Yeah, exactly. So you could pick up some guys like that, not have to lose anything you already have, and then really it's like, what's the point of making a trade? Because if LeBron and AD aren't healthy, it don't matter who we would have got. I was hearing Kyle Lowry or some other guys, like, without LeBron and AD, that's what we're really waiting on here.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. But what I thought an interesting trade was I felt it was pretty random, was Rondo being traded for Lou Williams. So Rondo's down with
Clippers?
the Clippers.
That was a sneaky good move by the Clippers though. Lou Will hasn't been the same 6-man since the lemon pepper wings.
Right.
Yeah.
And Rondo, he wasn't getting a lot of minutes because obviously Trae Young is there, but he'll add some toughness, a facilitator which they need.
Yeah.
They haven't had a real point guard in a minute. Pat Beverly is more of a defender, not really a offensive piece. So I like that move by the Clippers, and I think ATL, you get a guy when Trae Young is out, Lou Will can come in and get buckets. So I thought that was a good deal for both teams.
I think it was good for the Clippers, but I think it's a bad decision for the Hawks. I mean, Lou Williams couldn't even follow the COVID protocols at the height of the pandemic because he wanted to go get chicken wings in Atlanta. So now he's in Atlanta for most of the year now. I don't know how focused he's going to be.
Yeah, well, actually, I think the reason why the Hawks pulled the trigger, he's a hometown guy. So he's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's a fan favorite. So, and I think the Clippers, like you say, because of the lemon pepper wings, I think they kind of soured on him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think both sides said it could be a win-win for both of us. We bring back a hometown guy. Hopefully we could get him on track, because when Lou Will's on track, he is just pure instant offense off the bench.
Definitely.
And then Clippers do need a point guard, because Beverly has been trying hard, but number one, he has some injuries, and he's just not a traditional point guard. He's not going to give you 10, 11 assists in a game.
Yeah, it's not his game.
It's just not his game.
So, and I think this will help Patrick Beverly, because now he can just focus on what he does best, being a pest, playing defense, and Rondo can kind of, control the offense.
Yeah.
And he's going to play big in the playoffs.
Yep.
And yeah, I think I agree with you. I think Lou Will, I think he'll thrive in Atlanta. I think his game, that flashy play style, that's why they love Trae Young. I think he'll fit right in.
Yeah.
And now he can get wings whenever he wants. So I think he'll be happy.
But think about this. With Rondo in that backcourt, with Beverly in that backcourt, they could be the two most irritating guards in the NBA on defense. I could see a lot of people squaring up, wanting to mix it up, because they're two little dudes, but they're two bullies. So they can be really feisty. And I think that's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
Seeing those two guys on the floor together, they're going to get in a lot of people's heads, and it might be a lot of technical fouls and a lot of chirping out there, because they're two of the most agitating guys in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect balance having Beverly and Rondo with the Clippers and Kawhi, because he's a bit mellow. His game is tight, but he's not going to try to cause that type of commotion. But speaking of the trades and the injuries that are happening throughout the NBA, how will these trades and the injuries have the biggest impact for the Lakers?
Yeah, I mean, well, obviously the Lakers, missing their two best players, are in a good spot. But you got other injuries. Joel Embiid is hurt.
Yep. LaMelo.
Yeah, LaMelo Ball is hurt. I think Steph Curry is hurt.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. I'm going to stop at LaMelo. Can LaMelo still win? Because he was leading Rookie of the Year by far.
Totally.
Yeah.
Who are the other rookies again?
So you got Edwards in Minnesota.
Okay.
I think he has to be the next best, contender. But can LaMelo still win Rookie of the Year if he doesn't play another game this season? Or because of the injury, is cut too short and he won't make it?
I would say no. I think that's just not fair. You got to complete the season if you want Rookie of the Year. I definitely think he was going to get Rookie of the Year, and I thought it was going to be a unanimous decision, because I think it's plain as day when he was playing, LaMelo was Rookie of the Year. But I think that would be a little bit unfair if you are unable to complete the season, but then you get that accolade.
Okay. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'll have to agree. As great as he was playing, I could see if he was averaging like 30 and 15, then you maybe say, okay, I don't care how many games he played. But, he did start on the season on the bench, and then once he became a starter, though, he's been balling and they've been winning. But it's only March, so he's gonna miss a lot of games, and yeah, that would be pretty unfair to still give him the award.
Too much of a stretch.
Yeah, it's too many games out.
Well, what about Philly? Can Philly win without Embiid? You think they could win the chip, or do they need Embiid to come back and stay healthy? Philly is so weird, man. Every time they have a whip, they're playing great ball. Either Ben Simmons goes down or something weird happened, or Embiid goes down or something happened. Do you think they're going to be able to pull it together this year and actually have a full team that can make it throughout the whole playoffs without having a bad fever or somebody twisting an ankle or something? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's of course I want to see them healthy, but history isn't on their side. If you remember, Embiid's first 2 seasons, remember he was out. He didn't play his first 2 years because he was hurt.
Yep.
He didn't play a single game his first 2 years, and he's never played over 64 games in a single season.
Wow.
And like you said, it seems every year by the playoffs he gets hurt around this time, and that's another question. Can he still win an MVP? Because it was between him and LeBron, but he was putting up 30 and 11, and he was dominating the league. They were in first place. Can he win the MVP despite the injury?
Can LeBron win the MVP despite the injury? Of course, he's not going to bring up the Laker April.
Right.
But now is LeBron's MVP and Embiid MVP in jeopardy? And guess who I think has moved to the forefront? My new team. The team I'm picking now. The team I flip-flopped on. I think James Harden is definitely in the conversation to be MVP.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, with the injuries, he had a tough case because how he started the season in Houston, and then he's playing with 2 other, Hall of Famers. But now, when Embiid hurt, with LeBron hurt, it seems like they're gonna miss a lot of games. Yeah, I think he's in the lead right now.
Yeah, he is, because the Lakers are. According to the Lakers, LeBron is going to miss 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
So I definitely don't think, again, just like with LaMelo, if you're out for a significant portion of the season, I just don't think you should win any of those awards. So I would have to say no to LeBron, no to Embiid. Unfortunately, their injuries kind of messed up their chances this season.
Wow. And then, so it looks like Harden's going to get another MVP. He's been balling, though. He's fit perfectly. He's really been the driving force of this team. And I guess another key injury is Kevin Durant. He's been dealing with the leg injury. He's missed a lot of games.
Yeah, he was out last season.
Yep.
If he comes back, will he be 100%, and will he be ready by playoff time?
Yeah, these are good questions, man. I mean, it's the injury bug going out there. We know what happened with Clay. I mean, it's an injury bug out there, and I think it's going to change the landscape along with COVID. The NBA has had a great COVID run, and I'm not trying to jinx it. I thank God for that. I'm glad that the bubble worked out perfectly, but that's something that's still out there. You still have to, think about the protocol. NCAA lost a game where a team had to do a no contest because they got hit by some positive tests. So this is going to be real interesting with the injuries.
Yep.
Always a potential threat of COVID. Not a whole lot done at the trade deadline.
Right.
It's going to be interesting to see how the NBA is
So
going.
let me ask you bandwagoners, you bandwagon net fans that didn't even know they were NBA franchise until the season.
I was the first. Wait, before you even start that, I was the first one on this podcast to say the Nets are going all the way.
You did.
In 2021.
I'm not the bandwagon.
Where were you 5 years ago? You couldn't name
Kyrie wasn't on the team 5 years ago. Okay, no one was checking for the
player on the
Brooklyn
Nets 5 years ago.
So, Chris Humphries. There you go.
Oh wow, you went way back. God, you went to the initial franchise year or something.
And you only know him because of the Kardashians. but back to my question though. Are the Nets? Let's assume KD doesn't come back. They're still winning games. They still got 2 All-Stars. Can they win a championship with just Kyrie and Harden?
No. No. And as much as I love them, because they are flat out balling, but you're gonna need that sooner or later. You're gonna get into that position where you're gonna need the difference. You're gonna need a guy who's literally uncheckable, and he's like the kryptonite to LeBron. Like he's the only person I can see that if LeBron and AD comes back healthy, he's the only one who could give it to him. Because think about it, if LeBron and AD comes back healthy, I'm sorry, they're not going to lose to Harden and Kyrie. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Then if Philly stays healthy with Embiid, Simmons, that might be a nice goer just to get out the East. Miami, if they're healthy, might be hard to get out the East. But if they have Durant and he's full strength, it doesn't matter. They're winning the East.
It's a whole lot of ifs. You
Yeah.
said a lot of ifs in like the past minute or so. So I think they still have a chance with the current landscape of the NBA, how it is now. I think it is a possibility that they can get a championship.
And beat the Lakers with AD and Bron?
I said with the current landscape, we don't even know what the situation is with Anthony Davis. We know LeBron may be back in 4 to 6 weeks. I'm just saying if everything is how it is now, I think they have a chance. Now, if LeBron and AD come back, I think they can pull it in 7.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Wow,
so-
that's a bigger if than my ifs. My 5 ifs wasn't as big as that one if.
Wow. Yeah, that would be crazy. It's definitely a lot of question marks with all the injuries, and it's going to really change the landscape of the season.
Yeah. But hopefully everybody comes back healthy, because nobody, I don't think, maybe other than LaMelo, I don't think any of the other guys are, they say they're going to be out for the season.
Right.
So let's just hope they come back healthy so we can have a good playoff. But let me ask you another one, guys. College hoops tournament. Some Cinderella's been there. Our pick, Illinois is out. April's pick, the Georgetown Hoyas are out.
That was my pick.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I want to take it back.
No, we
There
got to
you go.
record it.
There you go. So now, who do you guys like in March Madness? We'll start with the men's side. Out of the teams left, it's Sweet 16 time now. Who do you guys go with? Because Mike and I had Illinois. April had Georgetown. Our teams are out. Who you guys rolling with now?
Man. Yeah, Illinois let us down. But they did lose to another team in Illinois, so you can't be too upset at that.
Yep.
I'm gonna roll with Loyola.
To win it all?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Okay, Cinderella story to the end.
Yeah, y'all Cinderella and boy. First we got Georgetown, now we got Loyola. Wow. Okay. What about you, April T? Who you think gonna roll now that your Georgetown Hoyas out?
Well, I'm going to stick to the Big Ten. I can see Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
I want to see a number 1 seed win. They've been playing really well. They haven't had any close games. They've been dominating since the beginning of the tournament, and they're not letting up. They're not letting up at all. So I'm going with Michigan.
Okay. I'm going with Michigan too. So we actually agree. And I got a couple of reasons why I picked Michigan. I'll give you the first reason. Then once we do the women, I'll give you the second reason. But I want Michigan to win, Big Ten. And Juwan Howard, man, our homeboy, graduated of CVS High School, played for Michigan, got him a ring with the Heat. And it's good to see him getting the opportunity to come back and coach at his alma mater.
Yeah.
So I got an emotional tie there too. So it would be nice to see the Michigan Wolverines win it. Now, what about the women? They're in the Sweet 16.
Yep.
A lot of 1 seeds are still standing. Connecticut, NC State, Stanford, South Carolina. In fact, they have a really kind of chalky tournament. They haven't had a whole lot of upsets. The most of the best teams have been winning. So who do y'all like on the women's side? I could start it off. I'll start it off. I like Michigan.
Okay.
Michigan, they got a tough road ahead. They got to play Baylor. But I like Michigan. The reason why I like Michigan, I would love to see on the men's side and the women's side a national championship. So I'm gonna just double down on Michigan.
When's the last time that happened? Probably UConn, right? Yeah, I would assume because
Maybe.
Normally their women's team is pretty good, and then they definitely won some. They have some good men's teams. But yeah, and that's what I'm rolling with. Actually, I'm gonna go with UConn. You know, they're a 1 seed. They play good ball, and they play hard on both ends of the court. I think they got a good chance of rolling through the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, I would have to agree with Mike Burr. UConn. It's kind of hard to root against them during the tournament. They just have an astounding record, and they just are always on, and they're not letting off any steam. So I would definitely have to go with UConn for the women.
Yeah, and their coach Gino Arrieta, I don't really know how to pronounce it. He came back from COVID, so that's going to give him a boost too.
Yep.
Because he was out, and they were fired up that he's going to be back. So, yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong with UConn. They're the New England Patriots or the Tom Brady of big games where, you just don't want to bet against them because they always seem to get it done.
Yeah.
You know?
That's totally true.
Yeah. But it's been good, man. It's been a good tournament. And I'm looking forward to seeing some more good hoops, man, because if you've been watching the games on the men's side and the women's side, they've been flat out balling, man.
It's been great. It's been great. A lot of good upsets, a lot of close games, and that's what we want to see, definitely. But we're talking about a lot of winning, but now we got to talk about a lot of losing. The Houston Rockets, 20-game losing streak. I think I said enough.
Yeah, they John Wall, they brought him in, swapped him for Westbrook. Harden Bales. PJ Tucker's now with the Bucks. Boogie Cousins, who was one of the most dominant centers in his prime, he now can't get past the injury bug. It's been a tough road for them. And now they lose Oladipo too, so yeah, play the violin. And that violin is for their coach, man. The young Paul Silas' son, waited 20 years as an assistant to get a job. And now it's just an absolute train wreck. Every piece of talent he was looking forward to coaching is gone. So hit that one more time. I want to hear y'all talk over it.
Yeah, it's just a very unfortunate situation. John Wall just didn't do anything. He didn't help at all. I mean, I knew they weren't going to be the same team that they were last season, but they're playing horrible. And the coach you could just kiss your NBA career goodbye.
I hope not. It's not his fault.
Yeah, and they kind of sacrificed a lot, to get Harden, Westbrook, Chris Paul, all the players they've had coming in and out. And, now it's really sad. They went from one of the top teams in the West, and now they are trash.
Yeah, it's rough to watch. So, Steven Silas, man, you did all the right things. You paid your dues. You earned your stripes. You got your opportunity. And unfortunately, you had a ticket to the Titanic instead of the Love Boat. You didn't get a ride on a Love Boat. You got a ride on the Titanic. And that's why I say, I hope the ownership, the management, has some mercy on him. And it's because it's not his fault. We don't know how he coaches yet.
No, right.
Until
not at
he
all.
gets a real team. Because right now, he's just managing a train wreck. And it's just totally not his fault.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's so bad you got to laugh at it.
Yeah, it is crazy,
it's
man.
so bad.
Yeah, so I hope he's not the sacrificial lamb at the end of the season. Because he doesn't deserve it. Because we don't know what he would do. Because he's having no opportunity to do anything, to be honest.
Yeah.
So can you see the Houston franchise giving him another shot?
I hope so, because like I say, how could you blame him? You don't know. You can't assess him.
That's fair.
You walk in the
That's
door
fair.
and everybody leaves. I mean, I don't know.
And I think they're gonna give him a shot. They have 4 first-round picks next year and 4 in 2022. So I think they have a opportunity to rebuild, and Houston's a great city, so maybe they could bring in some free agents too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Houston, hey, they've won 2 NBA championships. They've played, I think, in 2 more, so they've been to the chip. They have a tradition of winning. They're always in the playoffs, so I could definitely see, even though it's going to be a rebuild, I could definitely see them getting back on top.
And yeah, I think that he should get another chance because I feel like even our beloved Bulls, if they gave Fred Hoiberg and Jim Boylen a few chances, he definitely deserves a second chance because when he was an assistant coach for the Houston Rockets, they've had a lot of successful seasons. So I don't think we've seen his coaching abilities at all this season.
Yeah. And man, April, you just put me back in a time machine. The mayor, Fred Hoiberg. Wow. I haven't heard that name in a long time. Wow.
Yeah, we came a long way. Now we got,
Thank you, Billy Donovan.
And we got some front office that actually makes moves at the trade deadline. So it looks like we're turning around.
Yeah. The sun is shining in Chicago, baby. We happy right now.
Go Bulls.
Go Bulls, man. Go Bulls. And they're, like I said, and I said this before on the podcast, I've been watching the Bulls. And this year, because they're actually watchable.
Yes.
The last 3 seasons or so, they weren't even watchable, man. And I'm a fan.
I know.
But now at least they're watchable. Win or lose, you enjoy the game.
Yeah, and they have a shot of making it to the playoffs this year, which will be a lot of fun.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that's all I have for tonight.
All right. What about you, Mike Burr?
Oh, yeah, that's all I have as well.
All right, man. It's been a great podcast.
Yes.
We covered a lot of ground. And it's been exciting, man. So far, sports have been exciting, man. I'm glad that all the sports are back. They up and running. They rolling.
Yep.
So I hope they just keep it going, man.
Yeah. Go Bulls. And, let these other teams have fun, while LeBron and AD are out.
Okay.
Okay.
But, hey, and to let you guys know, subscribe, share, comment. And next week, we're going to be on Locker Room. So check your apps for Locker Room. It's a straight up sports app with just all sports only. Join us in Locker Room. You could jump in live while we're doing the podcast. We'll take, if we get enough people in, we'll take questions after the podcast. So we're moving from, what was the one we was on last
Clubhouse.
time? We're moving from Clubhouse, and we're going to be on Locker Room next week because that one's totally devoted to sports. So check us out on the Locker Room app next Wednesday around 8 o'clock Central Time.
All righty.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it.
So, hey, to all our winners out there, thank you for tuning in. And as we always say, Mike Burr, drop the beat.